Hi everyone, I'm Maria York. This presentation is a reflection on the strategic implementation work I completed during the Franklin University Education 615 class, which is focused on Sinclair Community College. Over the next few slides, I will walk you through the process from needs assessment to stakeholder engagement, planning, communication strategies, evaluation, and the adjustments needed to ensure continued progress and success. The needs assessment was a foundational step in understanding where Sinclair Community College stands, particularly in serving underrepresented student populations. One of the key strengths of this process was involving a broad range of stakeholders, which allowed for diverse perspectives. However, a clear area for improvement is in the consistency of the feedback loops. Without a structured way to continually gather input, we risk missing evolving needs. Establishing an ongoing system for feedback is vital for adaptive and responsive planning. In this phase, I came to understand just how important it is to combine both qualitative and quantitative data when evaluating institutional needs. Sinclair's use of broad feedback from students, faculty, and community members provided a clear picture of where support systems were falling short, particularly for the underrepresented groups. What stood out was a realization that while surveys are useful, they don't always capture the depth of the students' lived experiences. Incorporating smaller focus groups could help fill in those gaps. The process reminded me of the needs assessment should uncover both challenges and strength that can drive positive change. The stakeholder analysis. In this stage, the focus was on understanding who holds influence within the college and who might need more voice in decision making. It became clear that faculty and students are not just participants, they are the drivers of authentic change. Analyzing power dynamics helped clarify strategic priorities and made me more mindful of who should be at the table when planning for institutional improvement. Creating a stakeholder map really changed the way I think about collaboration in higher education. It became clear that not every stakeholder has the same level of influence or engagement, but each one brings something important to the table. What I found most impactful was how student voices directly shape Sinclair's equity priorities, and how faculty feedback guided decisions on professional development. On the flip side, some voices, like part-time staff, were less visible in the process, and that's something to work on moving forward. This phase showed me how essential it is to include everyone who's impacted by change, not just in theory, but in practice. The action plan aligns with Sinclair Community College's current strategic objectives and includes clear, measurable milestones to track progress. One of the most critical components of feasibility is not just having a plan, but ensuring the right people and resources are committed to executing it. I learned that even the most well-intentioned strategy can fall flat without buy-in and follow-through. Reviewing the action plan showed me what it really means to move from vision to execution. Sinclair's approach was both thorough and practical, with clear timelines, assigned responsibilities, and metrics for success. I appreciated how the plan left room for adjustments and recognized that not everything would go exactly as expected. What I really took away was the importance of being realistic when setting goals and flexible enough to respond to new information. It reinforced for me that good planning isn't rigid, it's responsive, and always tied back to the students' needs and institutional values. Effective communication is what ties everything together. It aimed for two-way communication so stakeholders could give as well as receive information. This responsiveness helps build trust, which is essential for engagement. Whether through surveys, focus groups, or informal conversations, the key was creating structured yet flexible ways to keep people informed and involved. Communication stood out as one of the most vital pieces of the entire strategic process. Sinclair's plan wasn't just about sharing updates, it was about keeping conversation going. The use of SMART goals, gave structure to their communication efforts, making it easier to track engagement and effectiveness. What I liked most was the commitment to the two-way communication. Whether it was through surveys, town halls, or student portal, the college made space for feedback. It reminded me that people are most likely to support a plan when they feel heard and kept in the loop. Evaluation must be intentional. Included are both qualitative feedback from students and quantitative feedbacks from KEIs, or key performance indicators, both which measure success. Regular check-ins and reviews allow for real-time adjustments, which is critical in maintaining momentum. Anticipated challenges, like limited budgets or staffing, can be managed more effectively when strong leadership and early collaboration are in place. As expected, challenges came in the form of resource constraints, but we also saw early wins through strong collaboration and leadership backing. What stood out most was the importance of flexibility. We had to be willing to adapt plans as new data or challenges emerge. Celebrating even small progress helps reinforce motivation and long-term engagement. Key lessons learned. Some of the most meaningful lessons were surprisingly simple. Listening, truly listening, creates the foundation for all other strategies. Shared ownership of goals increases participation and commitment. Clear objectives and mutual accountability are the glue that holds implementation efforts together, and these insights will shape how I approach leadership and planning going forward. Looking ahead, I see several key takeaways from this experience that will shape my approach moving forward. First, Sinclair's process provides a strong model that could be expanded to other institutions or programs, especially those aiming to address equity and student success. The structure they use is adaptable and could easily serve as a blueprint for similar initiatives in different settings. Second, the importance of continuous improvement stood out for me. From quarterly evaluations to open channels for feedback, the idea of building flexibility into a strategic plan is something I'll carry with me. It's not about getting everything right the first time, it's about staying responsive and committed to growth. Finally, this experience has supported my own development as a future leader. I've gained a clearer understanding of how strategic planning connects with equity, communication, and community engagement. It challenged me to think more broadly and also more personally about the kind of leader I want to be, one who listens, adapts, and leads with purpose. In conclusion, as I look back on this process, I'm struck by how much intentionally goes into creating lasting change at a college or university. From identifying gaps in supportive services to developing thoughtful communication plans, Sinclair's approach modeled the kind of inclusive, data-informed leadership I aspire to. This experience reminded me that effective leadership isn't about having all the answers, it's about building systems that listen, adapt, and move forward with purpose. I feel better equipped to participate in and even lead strategic initiatives that make a meaningful difference in the lives of students and the culture of an institution. Thank you for listening.